Item number 8, we have a public hearing this evening. Hold a public hearing, waive the second reading, and adopt the 2016 Fire and Building Code ordinances by reference with amendments.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Council members. At your April 11th, 2017 meeting, staff introduced with detailed background information this proposed adoption of the 2016 State of California Fire and Building Codes with proposed local amendments. At that meeting, the Council waived first reading and formally introduced the 2016 Fire and Building Codes to be adopted by reference with local amendments with the adoption of specified local ordinances. The Council adopted a resolution approving findings of necessity and need for the amendments, deletions, and additions to the codes, and the Council set April 25th, this date, for formal adoption of the codes. Every 3 years, the State of California updates its fire and building codes. Beginning on January 1, 2017, these new codes, referenced as the 2016 California Building Codes, became effective. These codes apply minimum construction standards for all built structures throughout the state. The 2016 California Building Codes consist of 13 parts, including the Building Code, the Residential Code, the Electrical Code, the Mechanical Code, the Plumbing Code, the Energy Code, and the Fire Code. All projects submitted on or before December 31st, 2016 are permitted to comply with the 2013 edition, the prior edition of the California Building Codes. Cities can adopt amendments to the mandated state building and fire codes to address unique local, climatic, geographical, and topographical conditions. During the last code adoption cycle, referenced as the 2013 California Building Codes, the City Council adopted a number of local amendments which staff summarized at your April 11th meeting. These amendments were approved and filed with the California Building Standards Commission as required by state law as part of the prior cycle. Staff is proposing that these amendments be carried forward with the city's 2016 California Building Codes adoption, which requires readoption of these amendments by state law. Additionally, staff is proposing several new local building and fire code amendments. I would like to highlight some of the proposed local amendments that are in your materials. Proposed new local amendments to the 2016 Building Code relate to the following: prohibiting the covering of storefront windows or obstructing the view in any manner upon vacancy that limits the ability of the building official or designee from conducting visual inspections from outside of the building. Other building local amendments being proposed with this cycle have to do with street identification numbers. Based on citizen interest and feedback, staff has included local amendments to require that street identification numbers be illuminated. This requirement would apply to both residential and non-residential developments. With new construction, it would be expected that the illumination would be addressed as part of the overall electrical system within the building. With additions and remodels, alternatives would be considered, including but not limited to solar and battery pack options for illumination. This illumination requirement would become a standard building permit checklist requirement. Highlights of the proposed new local amendments to the 2016 Fire Code relate to the following: establishing language regarding definitions and permit requirements to help regulate operations associated with mobile fueling vehicles. Businesses that perform the service typically fuel vehicles on site for customers from vehicles with fuel tanks up to 110 gallons in size, or from vehicles carrying a maximum of 60 gallons of motor fuel in listed metal safety cans. Another area of local amendment in the fire code is an amendment that deletes regulation pertaining to the use of open flame cooking devices on combustible balconies consistent with the International Fire Code, IFC, and the California Fire Code, CFC. Fire agencies throughout the county and state have returned enforcement of barbecue regulations on balconies and decks to individual homeowners associations. Our fire department staff has indicated that it will provide information to local homeowners associations about this matter. Additionally, the staff will provide useful safety information on the city's website. With that summary of proposed local amendments to the 2016 Fire and Building Codes, I will conclude my presentation by recommending that the Council formally adopt the 2016 Fire and Building Codes by reference with local amendments by adopting the ordinances provided to you with your staff reports. Our Chief Building Official, Roy Bruno, and Fire Chief Dave Downing and I are prepared to answer any questions you might have on our report. Thank you.